Alfonso Ribeiro says what about Tyler Perry? And the 45th president of the United States is now a convicted felon. Plus, Mike Tyson postpones upcoming fight, and we pay tribute to the mother of Michelle Obama. Welcome to the Weekend Critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. I'm your host, Patricia Hartley. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. It's Saturday, June the 1st, 2024. Hey, critics, it's time to chronicle. Up first, let's give a few updates. Number one, let's go with Nicki Minaj. As you know, we had a breaking news story last weekend where we talked about Nicki Minaj being detained, but she was later, of course, released. We also came to you with some news from her Instagram the second time, because the first time, she recorded the whole incident that happened with her at the airport where she was detained over in the Netherlands. Additionally, we came a few hours later where she went live again. And in that live, she was released and she went down, I believe, to speak with fans. At the time, I wasn't sure in terms of her concert if it had been canceled, but come to find out, it did get canceled. However, there were some fans that was outside of her hotel just kind of greeting her and just kind of letting her know. Y'all know what I thought about that. We go to other countries, you just got to abide by the rules of what the other country wants. If it's, again, if you go back and you listen, I kind of gave, a little bit more, not only in regards to Nicki Minaj, but I kind of touched a little bit as well on sort of Brittany Griner. But the bottom line is, I'm so glad to hear that Nicki Minaj is A-okay. And although her Amsterdam concert was canceled, you can always give a concert later on. So glad to hear that everything is okay with you, Nicki Minaj. So da 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 da. And speaking of touring and all of the things, the girls have been over in Cannes, doing their thing. Just kind of across the way they've been doing their thing, and that includes, of course, Miss Kelly Rowland. And we talked about Kelly Rowland on the May 23rd episode, and how she ran into a security officer guard who was, when she was at a premiere on the red carpet, and the security guard was kind of rushing her, we now know was rushing her up the stairs, and she had to say, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. Well, she wasn't the only person that ran into a problem with the security guard at the red carpet, y'all. So a Ukrainian model, her name is Sawa Potiska, and she is reportedly suing the Cannes Film Festival. People.com reports that the model filed a legal complaint against an event organizer at the premiere of Marcelo Mio, again, the same exact premiere in which Kelly Rowland was at. All right. And she had to stand her ground. Well, there's a TikTok video of this model that garnered about, I think it was around 16 million or so views. And it shows this security guard basically attempting to drag the model inside while having her arms around her, and apparently kind of put her in sort of a I guess a tight hold, you know? And according to BBC, not only is the model saying that she was aggressively guarded by this lady, but it was essentially physical assault and psychological damage, and she's seeking about 100,000 euros for this damaging experience. And so Kelly Rowland, again, I was on your side from the beginning, because the video with Kelly Rowland shows that the lady's a little kind of like, what is going on? Like, something's happening. She said something to Kelly. And so this just kind of backs up what Kelly was saying, and what her experience was like. But this model also experienced something to the level of filing a lawsuit. So Kelly, if you felt like, girl, if you wanted to file something, come on now, behind you 1000%. Um, and today we also want to pay tribute to Marian Robinson. She is the mom to Michelle Obama. She passed away on yesterday. The First Lady Michelle placed a heartfelt message on her Instagram, paying tribute to her mother, saying, "My mom was my rock, always there for whatever I needed. She was the same steady backstop for our entire family, and we are heartbroken to share she passed away today. Our hearts go out to the First Lady, Michelle Obama, and her family during this difficult time. And in terms of White House news, Donald Trump is officially a convicted felon. As you may know, this past Thursday, on May the 30th, Donald Trump was officially convicted in the hush money trial and has been found guilty on 34 counts of violating campaign finance rules. Now, our critics over at Don Lemon and his Lemon Live show, they set up on YouTube giving us the blow-by-blow details of those, some of those breaking news stories, along with our critics over at Roland Martin as well. The critics also did a great job of just kind of covering the breaking news, and pointing out something that's very important. In spite of this conviction, many are still preparing to vote for and move forward with the 45th as the Republican candidate for the upcoming presidential elections. So, if you're one of those people who's like, you have yet to register to vote, be sure that you are registered, because it's still going to be um a very interesting election season, in spite of. And if Donald Trump runs for the candidacy, it will be the first time in history that we've had a convicted felon running for president of the United States of America. So definitely more to come when it comes to that. And be sure you, I guess you got to watch what you say. Robert De Niro, apparently, according to TMZ, I guess he said something about the 45th president of the United States and it cost him an award, over politics. That they used to tell us don't talk publicly about, like, what was it, politics and religion. It's still easy to just sort of grace, I feel like, religion respectfully, but politics has gotten just out of control. Sorry, Robert, that you won't be getting you won't be getting whatever the award is. Yeah. Ugh. Don't be nasty. And speaking of nasty, Mike Tyson is going to postpone his fight. Even though, y'all, I'm still confused about, am I the only one that's confused about why Mike Tyson was fighting anyway? Like, Mike, I thought you had retired. This was the fight that he was supposed to do this upcoming July with YouTuber Jake Paul, and they was already preparing. I believe Mike Tyson had already gone on some kind of a fast and was like getting himself ready to fight this YouTuber Jake Paul. And I don't think I heard very many people who thought it was an actual good idea. And when they said that, I think they meant like, it just, you don't want to, you don't want to. What if you lose, Mike? What if you ain't got it like you used to? We know what happened on the plane with that dude or whatever, but that's, you know, we just it just seemed unnecessary. But whatever the case may be, I'm sure that y'all can make a lot of money for this, but apparently it's postponed due to Tyson being diagnosed with an ulcer. So might definitely get well soon. And I wouldn't go with the fight with Jake Paul. Just don't do it. That's just don't do it. And speaking of folks who don't want to do it, Alfonso Ribeiro, as you know, he's um well, now we know him from Dancing with the Stars, right? Because he was the winner season. I can't remember which season it was, 15, 16, something like that. But he was a season winner. But we know him primarily from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he played the role of Carlton. Well, him and Tyler Perry, apparently something is going on. I don't know if y'all knew. I didn't know until it was brought to my attention. Well, Alfonso tweeted something out that really popped out on Twitter this past Tuesday, saying, I don't need or ever want that man to do anything for me, responding to a fan who implied that Alfonso needed Tyler Perry to revamp his career. Well, it got a lot of folks' attention, and it let us know that it's obvious that Alfonso and Tyler Perry, something happened there. And, speaking of something that was a little suspicious, this was probably back in November, right after Cassie filed her lawsuit against Diddy. We saw Christian Keys, he's an actor, who came out and talked about a Hollywood director who preyed on male actors and how he had a recording of this individual. And if we heard his voice, we would know exactly who he was. And while it was implied that it was certain directors, it wasn't told exactly or mentioned in a person's name. Unfortunately, Tyler's name is floating around there, and that is alleged, though. That is alleged. And while Alfonso is known, of course, for that role, we don't know exactly what the deal is or why he said what he said. Apparently, there's also reports out there that Alfonso did a season on one of Tyler Perry's shows, and him and Tyler butted heads, and it just kind of turned everything sour, and things have just not gone back ever since. And we've seen that happen before, right? One little thing can just kind of turn something around, and then folks can never get to a better place when it comes to it. Whatever the case may be, I think it's obvious that Alfonso wanted to know, because when he responded and said, "I don't need or ever want that man to do anything for me," got us talking. Now we looking. Speaking of looking, in the tabloids, we've seen Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's all around. Well, apparently Jennifer Lopez, she tweeted out some things as well, saying that she's going to be canceling her upcoming tour so that she can focus in on family. Some folks are saying a little bit differently. They're saying that the tour was not selling, and even though reportedly Jennifer was willing to do these concerts in spite of the fact that they weren't selling out top notch, and everybody hasn't sold out of arenas. We talked about Nicki Minaj and her Pink tour, Pink Friday tour, 2 tour selling out, but everybody is not that fortunate to have, arenas in which they are selling out when it comes to their tours. And unfortunately, it seems like the pre-sale when it came to Jennifer Lopez, in spite of the fact that they even dropped some of the ticket sales, she wasn't able to sell out. And I've heard some of the YouTubers talk about Meg the Stallion. But Meg is out here selling tickets, at least, when even if she is dropping the ticket prices. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I remember at one point in time, and this was kind of back in when Beyonce, I think, was on her, I don't know if it was the second tour that she was on, but she had a deal where she was doing like $20 concert tickets. So there's nothing wrong with dropping the price so that you can adjust to the economy, adjust to your audience. I see nothing wrong with that. But Jennifer Lopez, people think that you got a lot going on, girl. That's really it. They think that you've oversaturated the market. I believe you have a movie going on right now. I believe you just released some sort of a spritzer or something like that right before you got with Ben. And then when you and Ben got back together, you came up with the movie on, I think it was like Netflix, something like that. Then it was supposed to be complimentary with your tour. And on top of that, a Vegas residency to really be the icing on the cake. And I heard that was in question. But J-Lo, either way, you have really done a great job of the legacy that you have built thus far. And I know that you want to continue on. And I can't tell you which direction I believe you should go, but I think acting, many folks love, your acting. And I will say that that's probably the area where I've heard people criticize they can't really criticize as much, right? I think they criticize you the least when it comes to that part of it. So yeah, J-Lo, I look forward to seeing you in more movies. I love your movies. I wouldn't say this is me, but I did watch it on Netflix. And shout out to all of the folks, the cameos that you actually had in there. I loved it. Jennifer Lewis was in there. I love Jennifer Lewis. And of course, Keke Palmer. She was in there as well. Trevor Noah was in there too. But shout out to J-Lo. Girl. Don't be fooled by the looks that I got. Speaking of box office and speaking of movies and all of the things and acting, y'all know Bad Boys 4 is back in action. It's going to be released in theaters. I believe it's about 1 week away on June the 7th. Will and Martin Lawrence, they're out promoting the movie. Critics over at Patty Jackson's channel, they said that they noticed something interesting with Martin, but Patty Jackson did say that she saw the movie Bad Boys 4. And let me tell you what she said, y'all. She said she actually liked Bad Boys 4 over all of the other 3 movies. Now I'm interested to see, because my favorite so far, I think, has been Bad Boys 2. Period. Period. That's what the streets say now. But yeah, that's probably the one that I've loved. I probably love the most. And speaking of loving, I love the fact that 7-time Grand Slam winner Venus Williams, she's a whole Barbie now, y'all. She's part of a brand new campaign with Mattel that's honoring women in sports. The tennis champ is being honored along with 8 other groundbreaking female athletes and said the following of her honor. Throughout my career, I've always been driven by the idea of shattering glass ceilings and staying true to myself. And Barbie's mission couldn't resonate more deeply with that ethos. So shout out to Venus Williams and congrats on your Barbie. Y'all be sure to check out the description box for more information about how to stay connected to the channel. And be sure to catch us here on the Critic Chronicles every weekend for uploads. Thanks again for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.